Hello, Cougar Nation, and welcome back to the Coaches Weekly for this season of Cougar Baseball. I'm Jonathan Shear with the Cougar Sports Network, here with two of those Cougars, Tyler Dorsch and Bryce Jones. Guys, thanks for coming on the show this week.
Thanks for having us.
And, it's coming off of a solid week for you guys. Only one doubleheader against Edgewood this past Saturday, and it was a productive one. Your second doubleheader sweep of the season. Game one, a close one, 8-7. Game two, 3-0, and it's something that I kind of want to touch on just to see you guys' thoughts on it, because it's kind of a pattern that's been happening with your team, you guys' team, through double headers. There's one game, it's a bit more high scoring. It's still close, but high scoring. You get around that 8-run range, and then another game where it's a 3-0 pitcher's duel shutout, and you guys have been on the winning end of those pitcher's duels more often than not throughout this conference season. But is there anything to come with your strategy going into doubleheaders with that? A bit more of a pitcher's game, a bit more of a hitter's game?
So from the hitter side, I believe that we got to be a little better with 2 outs, because me personally, a lot of 2-out RBIs on the table that I've left there. And then we've had some opportunities too to get those guys in, but from the pitcher side, they've been shoving. So 3 shutouts this year is pretty incredible. So I'll let you take over.
Yeah, I think the pitchers, we've just been doing a good job of going out there and competing and throwing with confidence and trusting defense behind us.
And you mentioned, that runners in scoring position, those 2 outs, runners on the bases, Tyler, and I think that's something that, from the outsider's perspective, that's something that there has been an improvement on from your team this season. You go back to that start of conference play, that MSOE doubleheader, and that first game was the notable one, a close loss 4-3, and you had a couple of those close losses through the early part of the conference season. 1 run, left some runners on base in the bottom of the 9th, and they're tough losses. But you go again to some of those wins more recently, and you guys have been doing really well with getting those just as many runners as you need to across the plate, winning those close games. Both of those games against Edgewood this past Saturday were close games, and you took both of them. So how do you guys, where was a little bit of a shift? Do you think there's been anything that's been big to helping you guys improve in that way in those close games?
I think the big thing is just having faith that we're going to win. Just going out there and knowing that no matter what, we're going to come through and win. But that's always been the big difference in close games. But we just got to keep having that mindset.
Yeah, I think you touched on it perfectly.
Mm-hmm. And Bryce, I'm going to shift it over to you. You mentioned how great the pitching's been on the mound this year with 3 shutouts already. And that has been a really big story throughout this season for the Cougars, is the pitching staff and the depth of it. There's some great guys you guys can put out there to start the game. And Bryce, you yourself, one of the relievers out of the bullpen, that's a very deep bullpen for your team as well. And they've come up big in a lot of these low-scoring close games you guys have had this year. So just what's it been like from the inside perspective of that bullpen to work with all those guys on the mound and, putting together what's a very strong season so far?
Yeah, no, I think the coolest part about the 3 shutouts that we've thrown, the first one, it was just Dylan Ferraro went out there and shoved. And then the second one, we had 4 different arms in there. And then most recently, we had 2 guys throw. So I think it shows that we're a versatile staff. And as you touched on, we're a really deep staff. And I think everyone on the staff has been ready when their name's been called and just go out there and do their job and compete.
Yeah, and then we'll flip it back to the other side of the plate. Tyler, we talked about the hitting a little bit, and you're one of those guys at the top of the order for the team, and the top of the order has been very productive this season so far. Michael Kasich, the big name from that Edgewood doubleheader, 2 doubles, a triple, and a homer through those 2 games, and you yourself have been having a great year as well. A lot of the guys at the top of the order, but something that I've noticed from my perspective on the outside of the game is how important that bottom of the order has been in some of those games. I think the biggest one I noticed was back against St. Norbert's in that doubleheader sweep against the Green Knights. The bottom of the order came up big in a lot of clutch spots at the plate, and it's not just those games where they have been big. So how nice has it been, having a strong top of the order, but knowing that there's a bottom of the order that has some skills at the plate that can back you guys up?
Oh, it's been awesome, but you mentioned that we're doing good as an offense, but there's still so much room to be better. And I think we will get better and we will get hotter as we go on. And there's just more in the tank too.
And you mentioned getting better, getting hotter, a lot more in the tank. And that's something you're going to need as you guys head into this next week. A big week coming up for your team. 3 double headers in the next 5-day week. It's a week. But you've got Aurora this Thursday. You've got a doubleheader against the Spartans, and then it's a doubleheader against Marion, followed up by a doubleheader next Tuesday against Rockford. And all of those very big series, especially Aurora and Marion, those are other teams, around that top part of the conference that, those are important doubleheaders. So this is going to be a tough stretch for you guys. 6 games, which is more than half you guys have played already in just a week. So what's the approach for a stretch like this? What's the mentality? What do you guys look to focus on and execute well?
Confidence. Confidence is key. And like I said earlier, we got to know that we're going to win the game when we show up and just have the confidence that we're going to do it.
Yeah, just take it one game at a time and let our work take care of it and go out there and play confident and compete and be just fine.
Absolutely. And lastly, before we get going, just looking back on the year as a whole from the players' perspective, first time we've had you guys on the show. From the players' perspective, what's been your favorite part of the season so far with this team, and what's been a solid season for you guys?
Well, this group altogether has been really close. We've grown our faith a lot, which has been amazing. But it's been so cool to see everyone bond. Coach Connor said it before, it's a special group, and I really do believe it is a special group. I've never seen a group like this in my 4 years here. I'm sure Bryce could say the same.
Yeah, no, it's been a special group, and it's been really cool to see the young guys develop and go out there and have success, and I think that's really cool for those guys.
Absolutely, and that'll do it for this week's Coaches Weekly for Cougar Baseball. Like we mentioned, the Cougars back in action this Thursday, taking on Aurora at noon, followed up by Marion and then Rockford this next Tuesday. 3 doubleheaders coming up, and you'll be able to keep track of Tyler, Bryce, and the rest of the Cougars all on cucougars.com with the Cougar Sports Network. Thank you for joining this week. Tyler, Bryce, thanks for coming on the show this week. And as always, roll Cougs.